There comes a moment in every women leadership journey when ambition starts to feel different, not smaller, not weaker, just different. Do you recognize this? The goals that once really energized you now feel kind of flat. And the drive is still there, but it wants a new shape. And ambition is becoming more discerning, more honest, more you. This is not you losing your edge. This is your ambition maturing, and it is moving from external validation to internal alignment. Welcome to Dialogues Live. I am Helena Demuynck. I'm your host, I am your coach. And tonight we are exploring what happens when ambition and authenticity finally meet and how that meeting becomes your foundation, becomes the foundation of your next chapter. Now, before we do that, I would like to invite you. I would like to invite you to join me. And there are several ways to do that in order to kind of activate the conversation. First of all, what is possible is that you join me on stage here. I will give you the link here in the comments. You can find it below. It is already in the LinkedIn comments. You can use that link to just join me here. You activate your mic and your camera, and you come with me to share your views on ambition and authenticity, or to ask your questions, whatever it is that you want to do. If that's like a bridge too far for you, that's perfectly fine. Then you can share everything in the comment box. So ask your questions, share your views, share your experiences. They're all learning moments for everybody that is here and participates. Even if you are watching the replay, you are very welcome also to leave your views and your comment and your questions in the comments, because I will monitor everything and I will make sure that I back to you with whatever it is that you need. So welcome here. Welcome to Dialogues Live. Welcome to this specific topic, when ambition meets authenticity, where we are looking for alignment. And I would like you to check in with yourself for a moment to see how are you here and why you are here. Are you an executive? Are you an ambitious, high achieving executive? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a leader with a team where you also kind of manage ambitions from your team members? Are you in HR, managing and dealing with ambitions of people in your organization? Are you a mother? Are you a parent that wants to feel more connected with, like, your adolescent, teenager, or adult children that kind of step into professional life, and where I was like that when I was very young, where ambition is like such an important driver, right? And if we look at the old model of ambition, where we are talking about achievement and performance improving, the pressure to climb, to outperform, to excel, with a lot of invisible rules that we, especially as women, have been conditioned to follow, and that felt off, that not really felt like us, where ambition was something to kind of align ourselves with the system, with kind of a masculine system that has been set up in a lot of organizations in corporate life, but also in entrepreneurial life, and that we have adopted and that we try to adapt. And so I would like to kind of introduce a new model of ambition that tastes differently. Because this is something that I notice with a lot of women when we talk about ambition, when we talk about high achievement, it's like, yeah, there's a kind of connotation there that has to do with the old model, with how ambition has been defined before. But think of ambition as a concept that is internally led, not externally fed. Think of ambition that aligns with identity, with your energy, with your values, and with your timing. Ambition that expresses who you are becoming, not who you used to be. And so I mentioned that last week already also, like early career, we are striving, mid-career, we are optimizing, and mature leadership is about aligning. It's the phase where ambition wants depth and not height. So think of your situation or think of somebody that you know where what is going on is chasing goals that no longer feels her own. There's so many women that I meet in my work, in my coaching work, that are at a level where they consider themselves and where others consider them extremely successful, high achieving, ambitious. And they feel that they lost themselves in the whole process. And a breakthrough through that is not really leaving, taking something else, taking a step back, doing something completely different. Sometimes, or most of the time, it is about rediscovering what truly matters and align what you do around that. So I would like to invite you into a coaching moment, into a moment of reflection, of curiosity, I would say a gentle challenge. And I'm going to ask some questions here. So maybe you want to take something to write them down, or at least to write your thoughts about that or your answers on those questions. And use that as a moment of reflection for your own situation. Right. So I will give you a couple of minutes for every, well, not a couple of minutes, but I will give you some time for every question so you can at least note some words down that you then maybe can go deeper after this session. So, my first question is, where is your ambition currently running on autopilot? Where is your ambition currently running on autopilot? If you want to share something about that in the chat, you're very welcome. I will make sure that I see the comments here. Ambition running on autopilot. Think of that. A second question is, which goals feel inherited rather than chosen? What part of your career, what part of responsibilities you take up, what part of how you perform your role is not you, is not chosen, is because your predecessor did it like that, is because you saw your parents performing like that, is because you see your colleague or your spouse performing like that, your partner. So, which goals that you are working on now don't feel yours? Next question. There's two more. Where do you feel ambition pulling you? And where does it feels like pressure? Certainly, there are parts in your role and your responsibilities in what you want to achieve that is really pulling you and driving you forward. And there's others where you might feel pressure, where you might feel stress or overwhelmed. So think of that and take some notes about that. And then this is one of my favorites. What would ambition look like if it came from your values instead of expectation? What would ambition look like if it came from your values instead of expectation? So let these questions land and take some notes. On that last question, I have so many examples of women who build a career based on expectations. And a specific example that I can give you is a woman that started to have a family and that was in a very linear career in a big consulting firm where every so many years you make a promotion. And her parents had been working extremely hard in order to get her through university. So she felt kind of a responsibility, a kind of, I need to give everything I have in order to validate not only my diploma, but also to validate all the work and all the effort that my parents made in order to get me through university. And so she climbed that career ladder. And we were working together in a setting of the next promotion, which was a very important promotion. And that would also change her life a lot in terms of how it would impact the totality and all the aspects of her being, of all the roles that she was taking up. And she felt very uncomfortable because she was aware that her family, that was so important for her, and her little children um, would kind of suffer from it because she would be traveling a lot more international roles, things like that. And it basically came to a situation where she started realizing that the fact that she was chasing this career and making all these next steps was a lot more aligned with how she felt she had to take that responsibility towards her parents, who were not even expecting that, then it was aligned with her values. And that was a real eye opener for her. And she could really, from a calm and present state, once she realized that, make decisions on how to organize her career and what she wanted in the next stage and how she wanted to align that with her family that had specific needs in that phase. I mean, there were little children. And then look a couple of years later, how to kind of redefine that role, but really based on what mattered for her and not for some idea and script that she had written about how she had to validate the efforts of her parents. If that makes sense, let me know in the chat. And maybe you have a similar story, or you know people with a similar story that are so pressed in terms of um, ambition and career drive by norms and systems that are not theirs. And so I invite you also to write down one area in your life or in your leadership where you know that you are ready for a more honest alignment. Doesn't have to be similar to that story, but there might be elements in your career track, in your path, that are also related to expectations of other people or scripts that you wrote about expectations or what it's supposed to be. So look at one area there where you are ready for a more honest alignment and take some notes. Now, if you have been here before, then you know that I'm organizing this weekly Dialogues Live in order to support women leaders, executive entrepreneurs. I would say every woman that has a goal that wants to manifest. And I'm basically here with Dialogues Live to introduce coaching for those who have little experience with coaching or some experience with coaching but want to go a little bit deeper, because it is not easy. First of all, a lot of organizations only provide coaching for their top people, and there are some leadership programs that are more in terms of generalized, standardized leadership trainings. When we talk about individual coaching, where you work with a coach specifically in your own rhythm and with your own goals and desired outcomes, that's a different situation. I have created a couple of tools. I'm creating more tools that help you in that process, because it is not possible for everybody to have a professional coach. I mean, it is not possible sometimes in terms of budget, it is not possible in terms of timing. So, what I have been doing is I have been creating, and I will create more tools that help you to at least set the basics for this experience, that at least give you a safe space and a possibility to explore what you want, to explore where you are stuck, to have a listening ear that is neutral, non judgmental, and confidential. And so the tools that I have are Dialogues with Helena, which is an online coaching application, a really highly personalized and safe space for you to learn, to grow, to ask your questions. It is something that is still evolving. Like, the latest thing that we have set up now is that both on mobile and on the computer, you can just talk in your language, and the coaching application responds to you and asks you questions, go deeper with you, validates you. So really helps you to um, go deeper and explore the topic that you want to grow in a very gentle way, whenever you want to. If you want to do that at midnight because you cannot sleep, because something is bothering you and keeping you awake, if it is just before an important meeting, just before an important conversation, a promotion conversation, or maybe a job interview, you have access to Dialogues with Helena in order to support you when you really need it. And it is an application that you can have on your phone and on your um, mobile. I will um, show you the QR code, which is on the left side on the top now of my screen. And then you have access to the application on your mobile. If you want it on your computer, it is dialogues with Helena.app. Very simple. Dialogues with Helena.app. And there's a second tool that we have developed. It is called Strengths in Motion. And Strengths in Motion helps you to see your unique constellations of strengths, and it reveals where your natural energy is trying to move next. So it kind of turns intuition into a clear, grounded direction. And Strengths in Motion is also upgraded. Let me show you the QR code. So this is a different QR code for the Strengths in Motion app on your phone. We also upgraded Strengths in Motion, so it doesn't only give you like a snapshot and your strengths and 1 month, 3 month, and 1 year development plan. It also gives you a possibility. Well, it helps you to translate whatever comes out there in your resume and in your LinkedIn profile. So basically, what happens is if you apply for a job or if you want to have a promotion, you have a different narrative, one that has connected the dots with what you have already achieved and with your strengths and with some specific validated questions So when you have a conversation about where you want to go, about how you define your ambition, on how you want to set your career path, you have the narrative, you have the words, because the tool really supports you with that. So this is basically something that can really help you with questions like I already brought here into this conversation. And I want to add some more questions. Questions also that you can easily go deeper on into dialogues with Helena. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we take so little time for reflection. We are so much consumed by the goals and the targets and the reports we have to write, and by all the other aspects in our life, all the other stakeholders that are expecting things from us, that we very rarely take time to reflect. And reflection time is kind of present time. It's connecting with yourself, it's connecting with your soul, with your heart, and it is bringing yourself to, what is it that I am doing? Is this still serving me? Is this absolutely what I want? What is it that I want differently? What is it that triggers me? And so this is why in every episode of Dialogues Live, I roll out some of these reflection questions to give you the possibility to do this here, like for yourself, together with me, in kind of an intimate setting. Because I think that we need more of that time. So let me give you like a quiet moment of integration and inner clarity with a couple of questions. And the first question is, think back a moment where your ambition felt effortless, a moment where you were fully yourself and fully powerful. And maybe take some notes. It could be last week, could be 4 years ago, could be a specific moment or a specific role, but where your ambition felt effortless, where you felt powerful. And if you have that moment, you can close your eyes if you want to. Nobody sees it. What was different about that moment? And see it before you. And try to use your senses. What was different in how you felt, how you talked, in your posture, in your voice, in your confidence, in your energy? What was different? And what part of that version of you is ready to return? And write down a thing or two, something that came up. Could be an image, a metaphor, or words. Even if it makes you uncomfortable, if it was heavy, just, shake it loose a little. Shake a little bit with your arms and your hands, shake it loose a little, or drink a sip of water. And understand that alignment, it's not a decision. It's basically a returning to your essence. Yeah. And I will give you 3 resources that you can deploy this week or longer to integrate this concepts. Yeah. So if tonight starts something, if this episode starts something, even if it's just a whisper, then I give you a few possibilities to continue the conversation with yourself. And you can use also dialogues with Helena with that. You can use the application with that. You can use strengths in motion with that. Or you can just do it standalone. But these are three things that you basically can implement very, very easily, whether you use the tools or not. And so the first one is an aligned yes, honest no check. So this week, before you say yes to something, pause for 5 seconds and ask yourself, is this a true yes? Or is it a trained yes? How do you know? A true yes expands your energy, and a trained yes tightens your chest, pulls you forward out of obligation, or feels heavy. You feel the difference. And you don't need to change your behavior yet. Just notice it. Notice when you say yes to something, especially if it is career job related, is it a true yes or a trained yes? Awareness is the first step to alignment. So it's just building that awareness. Second thing you can do is a one word ambition anchor. So based on what you've heard today, based on your own reflections today, choose one word that captures how you want your ambition to feel this season, how you want your ambition to feel until the end of the year. We still have like, you know, some time this year in order to kind of reframe. So not what you want to achieve, but how you want to move. It could be ease. It could be clarity. It could be precision or depth or boldness or grace or bold grace. I like bold grace or spaciousness. Think of something that really captures how you want to move, how you want to show up in your ambition that aligns with you, that aligns with what is valuable to you, what is precious to you. And write that word somewhere visible. Put it on your computer screen or put it on a door that you use very often on the mirror in your bathroom and let it guide small decisions this week or this month. So nothing big, but just the tiny moments where you choose direction. Because ambition becomes aligned through micro choices, not through dramatic reinventions. That's not what we want to do here, right? So think of that word. I will give you a moment. If you want to share it in the chat, do so. Yeah. Even if you're watching the replay, share your words. Always a source of inspiration. And the third thing that we can do in order to find more alignment is what I call the strengths spotlight ritual. So at the end of the day, each week, this week, take a moment and ask yourself, where did I feel most like myself today? And which strength was I expressing in that moment? Where did I feel most like myself today? And which strength was I expressing in that moment? This only takes 60 seconds. It's only 1 minute, but it effortlessly reconnects ambition to identity. Because aligned ambition grows from the places where you feel most you. So, what you're doing is you reconnect with you, not with all the external validations and triggers and things like that. So try it. Try the three or try one of the three or, whatever works for you and see how it guides you. And if you have any ideas about that or questions or whatever, check Dialogues with Helena. Go there, ask your questions, have the conversation. You will have the conversation with my avatar because in Dialogues with Helena, everything that is there is based on my expertise, on my wisdom, if I may say, on my experience with coaching women. And so you can go deeper there with these things. So to close our session today, there's some things that I would like to share with you. Ambition doesn't fade. It does not fade. It refines and it stops pushing and starts guiding. So the desire is still there, but now it wants to be true. It wants to be you. And the beautiful thing is that your next chapter will not be built from pressure. It will be built from alignment. And next week in Dialogues Live, we will explore how aligned ambitions shape decision making and how to create a rhythm that supports your energy instead of draining it. And so I want to close with one more thing, and that is your ambition is not asking for more effort, it is asking for more honesty. It is asking for more you. And with that, I will let you go for today for Dialogues Live. Remember, you can go to dialogueswithhelena.app or you can go to strengthsinmotion.app, sign up there, and then continue this conversation today, tomorrow, next week, whenever you feel the need, whenever you want to go deeper. You are so very welcome. Take care and hope to see you next week. Bye.